and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Yo, alright guys, Delzinski here. It's We Talk Wednesday, and that can only mean one thing, that I'm joined by the man who's 10 times better than Mike TNA. Yes, it's the real professor. It is Weeds.
You all right, mate? Are you having a good week? I'm really quite concerned for you because obviously you just introduced me as 10 times better than Mike TNA, and that's like the nicest you've ever been to me. Is this got something to do with our owner and sponsored Bagwell approved channel might be looking at other ventures this week?
Well, I'm always nice to you, first of all.
First of all, yeah. But Mr. Bagwell, he has not responded to a recent request from you, has he?
No, he hasn't. But he has been very busy. So maybe
very busy.
Maybe
He's been extremely busy.
Yes, the important word there is extremely busy. Triple X for that matter. Because yes, for some people, being a male gigolo is just not enough. And Buff is that kind of guy, because it's been reported recently that Buff is indeed venturing down the route of the porn industry, and I'm not talking about merchandise, pawnbroker, not that kind.
He's not selling chess pieces.
Well, he might have a bishop every now and again.
He's got some wood somewhere, hasn't he?
Definitely has. I mean, yeah, so, I can understand that he's very busy, and he hasn't got back to us yet to tell us that we're Bagwell approved. But I feel that we are anyway, and the people out there seem to want to be Bagwell approved.
I was going to say, so this week, with our host, I suppose, keeping an eye on us in the background, what have we got in store?
Well, what we've got this week, it's definitely jam-packed this week, because there's been so much to talk about in the wrestling world this week. I mean, there's been ups, there's been downs, and that's not just Buff been doing porn. I mean, we've got TNA. Yes, TNA, the big issues with TNA at the moment, where they have not got a TV deal with Spike anymore. We're going to be talking about that. We've got your classic 60 seconds Raw roundup, Weeds.
Yeah, we do.
And last but not least, well, WWE made a new signing this week. It's been going on for some time, but it's official now. And WWE have acknowledged that Prince Devitt is indeed signed to the WWE and will be joining NXT. So that's what we've got.
It's been quite a quiet week, isn't it?
Oh, terribly quiet. I mean, it's been crazy.
And I can't believe you managed to get Buffwell. See, now I've got Buff on the brain now. You've got Bagwell, Porn, and TNA in the same sentence. They should really just call the bloody thing Impact, really, shouldn't they?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but a while ago, before Buff got into his Ponjiggly Gigolo stuff and his
TNA days
and his Triple X stuff, well, no, he was actually going through
the change.
No, renegotiations with TNA to try and actually come back to the organisation. I mean, God knows what he'd have been up to there. But after that, he got busy. He started looking at We Talk with us, and then
you can only wonder.
He's gone MMA.
He's gone MMA.
Could you imagine it? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, him and some knockouts. Yeah, I can totally imagine it. Yeah, well, as much as we love being Bagwell approved, don't we? We wish him all the best on his apparently his new endeavours. But yeah, TNA, it's not been a good week, has it?
No, not at all.
Spike have dropped them like we've dropped the ball on this show many times.
Yeah, it's been quite a frustrating week, because I actually think TNA's products got better recently. I mean, I did do a video about my feelings towards how TNA have been getting on and the issues around the deal with SpikeTV. So guys, check that out. But I mean, it'd be good to get your views on it, Weeds, because I just think, yeah, the product was getting better, and if they were going to drop TNA, then around about 4 months ago would have made sense. But now it's kind of come bang at the worst possible point, because they've put a lot of effort into these New York shows. They've re-signed quite a few people. They've brought some guys back in, probably paid them quite a lot of money, and damn, bang, just like that, no more TNA. A lot of rumours going on that potentially the table spot that is coming soon with Dixie Carter could have been their downfall. That has fingerprints of Russo written all over it. But I mean, yeah, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, for all those naysayers out there that saying, we're glad that TNA aren't there, for me, that's absolutely ridiculous, and I'm sure it is for you too. The industry it shows how bad it went when everything disappeared. What was it, in 2001, 2002, when WWE kind of conquered all. So no, competition is good. Having a product out there like TNA and GWF wrestling coming up, with Jarrett coming up soon is good. Having all these GFW,
Global Force Wrestling. It's a terrible name.
Well, yeah, maybe I should rebrand it already.
Still got Buff on the brain, yeah.
I'm still Bagwell approved, just about. But no, just going back to what I was saying, having their competition is good, and TNA finally getting back to the 6-sided ring, albeit just in the last couple of weeks, it was going in the right direction. Storylines last few weeks, again, going in the right direction. You just wonder, don't you? You always do with TNA. You kind of, you've got that in the back of your mind. As much as, I want it to be around and have this competition, you kind of think, are they going to be around next year? Because they do a lot of silly things, and whether it's storylines or the people that are actually getting involved and on their active roster, they make some odd decisions sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, they've made a lot of, let's not beat around the bush. They have made a lot of cock-ups over the years. I mean, every time they get to a stage where you think, this could be the time for TNA to shine, they just do something kind of stupid, or they go for something, just out of the box, and they don't need to do that. They try and think of things that are so elaborate and unnecessary, when the simple thing to do would just be like putting over a guy like Samoa Joe, or having Magnus have a credible title reign. And instead of doing those things, they'll throw in Abyss left, right and centre. They'll make Jeff Hardy dress as Willow. I didn't mind the Willow character, but your franchise person is indeed someone like Jeff Hardy, so why even do that? They just went a bit crazy from time to time, and that's what's worrying, is that someone behind the scenes doesn't get it.
I don't know. For me, it's a couple of things. I think Spike had a lot of sway over what TNA necessarily did on their show. I mean, it seemed more important to Spike that they're promoting Bellator every 5 minutes, which is ridiculous. I'm watching a wrestling show. If I want to watch an MMA event, I'll tune into an MMA event. I know it's coming on next after TNA. They tell me about 15 times an hour, and it's kind of like Spike have dictated. I mean, you've already said there's a lot of rumors out there already about the table spot that is coming up with Dixie. I thought it was a good thing. It always goes over well, that kind of event. When it's happening, it's always a lot of buzz around it. So I've always thought that Spike have dictated to TNA what they do, when it really should be the other way around. For me, they've always kind of missed a proper wrestling promoter being behind the background. I know Jim Cornette's not their biggest fan, and he was the first to jump on the kind of let's bury TNA wagon. But someone who actually knows what they're doing, when you're going to get consistent booking, you actually going to get people being built up properly. I'm not saying this didn't happen in TNA. It's just very inconsistent when it did. When it was good to watch. When it was bad, it had me reaching for the remote to switch over the channel.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. When you look at the sort of people they've had behind the scenes, it's not like they just picked these guys out of thin air. They had credible people. They had Bruce Pritchard. They've got people like Dave Lagana, who's been around the wrestling industry for a long time. They did use people like Russo. They had Jarrett. The list could go on, but
These guys needed to have a little bit about them.
But when you go back to the heyday of TNA, it was all about action and wrestling. And okay, they did sign some big guys, they did bring in a few big guys here or there. But ultimately, it was all about like the X division, your high flyers, and they really did promote that well. And over the years, the way it's transitioned, it's tried to become more entertaining as opposed to just wrestling based. And I do believe that is because of the Hogan and Bischoff era that they got. Their company changed so much that is if you watch the first ever TNA Impact Wrestling show, which was in Nashville, and it wasn't called Impact Wrestling back then, but if you watch that first show and then let's say you watch, the most recent episode of Impact, you'd be amazed at how different it is.
And that's the problem. I mean, they've had so many changes of what they're trying to do. They've got some kind of identity crisis, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They've changed the ring, they've changed the colours, they've changed who's booking it. I mean, more times than anyone could care to imagine in just over a 10-year period. The big turning point for me was when they went from the 6-sided to the 4-sided ring.
That was Hogan's decision.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, that goes back for me again to Spike, that, they got a chance to have another big name in there alongside Sting at the time. They had these, these marquee names from the 80s and 90s and 2000s. And that's kind of what they said, well, Hogan knows what he's doing. Bischoff's run a company
Hogan
before.
knows best.
Exactly. And it's exactly that. You couldn't have left it arguably in worse hands, because yeah, I love watching Hogan. I still like it when he turns up in WWE. But Jesus, God, don't let him book the thing, because that's how you get Brooke Hogan turning up. That's how you get Nick turning up. That's not what TNA was. That's not why you started watching it. It's not why I started watching it years and years ago. And it's that they've had their identity shifted so many times that you just lose what you are eventually. And eventually, WWE, PG for a very long time, but it was going to learn, it was going to pick up the ball at some point and start getting it right again, which it has.
Yeah, what you've said there about Hogan is so interesting to watch, and I do say this quite a lot, but just watch the way that Hulk Hogan is now managed in WWE compared to how he was managed in TNA. So in TNA, he was given almost like the keys and he did what he liked. He came out, he was an active character, he was always involved in major storylines, he was the general manager, he also was working behind the scenes doing a bit of promotion, but that is where he should have been predominantly. He should have been behind the scenes promoting. Look at what he's doing in WWE. He's been to Mexico, he's been to Japan, he's going everywhere. He's not on TV all the time, and all he's actually doing is promoting things that the WWE have asked him. And I think he's actually on a lower salary with the WWE. Vince just knows how to manage people and manage big stars. And the difference is right now is I imagine it was Dixie Carter asking Hulk Hogan, what do I do here? What do I do there? And then when you go to WWE, it's the other way round. It's Vince saying, look, Hulk, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. If you don't like it, you can go elsewhere. And Hulk Hogan, tucks his tail between his legs and does what he's told. And that is the way you manage these guys.
And that's it. That's completely what you're saying. At the end of the day, WWE is run by a wrestling promoter. TNA hasn't been run by a wrestling promoter. It should have been run by a wrestling promoter, one that had, I mean, yeah, like you said, they've had people in there with a lot of experience at times, but not guys that it's their vision, it's their heart and soul. It's not a Paul Heyman with what he was trying to do with ECW. It's not, Jim Cornette with what he did with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It's these guys lived and breathed it. They cared from the match that was on first to the match that was on middle to the match that was on last. It was all trying to build and build and build. And how can we build this guy here? What would be good if we did with this, with the tag team there? And I think we've come back to the point again. Is just that is what TNA never had. It kind of felt more often than not they threw at the wall what they thought was good and just saw what would stick and what they could run with. They got lucky a few times. They've had some good guys come through, and obviously, they call them TNA originals, but people like your Samoa Joes, these were great guys to have, and you only had to start looking at people like AJ Styles. Could they pay him in the first place? Was because the money seems to be allocated to any kind of WWE cast-offs that were available at the time, and that's that was your Sting, that was your Hogan, that's what AJ Styles should have been. And so when he says, do you know what? I don't even know what you guys are trying to do. I'm going to go and make it with New Japan. He has,
though. That's the proof. I mean, he's gone to New Japan. He's been a big success. I mean, what he's done with the Bullet Club. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? You let this guy go, and it's like whether he was going to sink or swim, and he's just picked up the ball and run with it. It was a stupid decision, and as you said, the money probably went elsewhere. It probably went into paying someone like a Rampage Jackson to promote Bellator,
ridiculous,
King Mo, and
King Mo, Jesus,
so
forgot about that.
so I mean, on that note, I mean, could we look at it from the other angle as well? We've said where TNA's faults have been, Spike saying, look, no more. But could this also be, if they can get themselves a new TV deal with another network, could this be a good thing? Because, as you said, Spike didn't exactly promote them that great. They were more, the feeder to Bellator, which is garbage. And will they get maybe a network that actually thinks, look, we're proud to promote total non-stop action? Could that be a good thing?
Couple of key things for me is that they've already started trimming that roster, so that they've had a few new guys come in, they're interesting, but equally they've had a lot of people disappearing at the same sort of time. So money is arguably being brought in ever so slightly. They have gone with the internet before and just done their show through there. Whether or not they'd survive that this time is different.
I don't know, I heard they got they're like in the millions in debt.
But they have been for years. And that's, that the people have been, that their backers have been quite happy to, fund it somewhat, is being suggested out there. They need a network deal. And it's what that's going to be. And that's the key thing. I hope they don't go under. Because the company, when it's been good, it's been really good, and it would be disappointing for it to end like this, just kind of fizzle out, especially when there seem to be, well, we said, how many times have we said this, that they seem to be heading in the right direction again.
Yeah, you've got Aries moving into that top spot, surely. I don't know what's happening with Bobby Lashley, whether, they've done a great job with Lashley, but, he's, you could say, well, ex-WWE guy, but they did a great job with Lashley, the way they built him with MVP. I thought it was real good stuff, and it's kind of annoying that, potentially Lashley's going to disappear now because he's fighting in Bellator, and, the only saving grace is that possibly it's Aries that picks up the belt from this, but with that being the case, they really need to build their company round an Austin Aries, because I think that's the right sort of guy to work it around. Get your Joes in there. You've got your Wolves. Focus on the guys that can wrestle. Focus on the young guys. I mean, you said before we even came on this commentary, and there's so much to talk about on this subject. But you mentioned Magnus and how really they killed him because they gave him probably one of the worst championship reigns ever.
One of the weakest championship reigns I've ever seen.
Loser's championship reign that was. It was terrible.
It wasn't just cowardly, it was beyond that. And that's like we were saying, that's the guy where arguably, what is he, 26, 27? They should be building the whole thing around someone like that who's got the look. He's getting better on the mic every week. He was improving as a wrestler, and that should have been where they were looking at if they weren't going to go with an AJ Styles or something like that. I mean, the other thing, I mean, if TNA does disappear, is that it does open up quite a lot of avenues for maybe what the WWE could do if they arguably did buy another catalogue of wrestling history. There's a lot of guys on there that could do what the WWE, WWF at the time didn't do properly with an invasion angle. So that's always somewhere that that would be hot for the WWE to do something like that, especially with the wrestlers, like you were saying, with Aries, Joe, the Wolves, Ethan Carter, even though he's ex-WWE.
Yeah, but that's the point, though, isn't it? That's the point. And Ethan Carter, who wasn't appreciated in NXT and then had to make the move to TNA, he's done such a great job to build himself a character which, let's face it,
he'd have to take Aunt Dixie with him.
Yeah, that's the problem. You got guys like Rockstar Spud who went over, came from the British boot camp. He's gone out there. Well, he's got a fantastic character, great character, but he's more than that. He's a good wrestler as well.
That's what makes me think that it's still going to be around TNA, because, I mean, even over here, again, they've been promoting the boot camp that's coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up soon, isn't it? I forgot about that. And I mean, there's not enough alarm bells and things coming out of TNA personnel at the moment for me to think that it's going to disappear. No, I think there's a lot of rumours coming out of this, like a lot of people adding fuel to the fire. I mean, I've seen things like people saying that Spike are making shows about the demise of TNA. Yeah, not sure about that. I've seen ones about potentially, like, you may be trying to put out that rumour as well, Weeds, I don't know. But, like, invasion angles coming up. I don't see all that happening just yet. I think WWE would be rather drastic to start trying to do invasion angles when their product doesn't need it.
Well, it doesn't need it. It's just a different way to go. I mean, for me, it's hypotheticals, isn't it? Because at the end of this, I still think TNA is going to be around.
I certainly hope so, because we're supposed to be going in January. So
I was going to say we're fucked if it's not.
Yeah, and the only
we're paying Jeff Hardy's wage somewhere.
Yeah, I mean the final point I'd make on this is there is only one promoter that this really benefits, and that's good old Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Yep, he must be thinking, he must be feeling kind of sad if, because he spent a lot of time with TNA. I mean, he built that company up. Ultimately,
makes you wonder if he's got a deal already, doesn't it?
Well, he's done some good business moves. Look, he's acquired New Japan Pro Wrestling as a contact, where he can poach their talent so they can work, over for his Global Force Wrestling, and then go back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So you look at the people that are on that sort of roster. I think you've got Alex Shelley, AJ Styles. I think Chris Sabin's over there now. Jeepers Creepers, there's loads. And then he's got other deals as well. I think he's got a deal in Mexico. He's doing good business, and you would think that if TNA did slip, he'd be in there picking up them stars. I think potentially he would get your Ethan Carters and your people like that, who Austin Aries, unless WWE wants them, that's where they're probably going to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a few they want, but I mean, just going back to TNA, I mean, you've only got to think about Daniels and
the mistakes.
Kaz. It's just you just kind of think, no, that's one of the reasons I was watching in the first place.
The Wolves versus Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, Bad Influence, would have been great. And again,
you only have to go back
to
the reaction that Kaz and Daniels got when they came over here, and they weren't even on the main program when we saw them in Wembley, were they? They were on Explosion, and they still got one of the best reactions of the night when we went.
I've heard that Buff gets a similar one.
Well, he's on Explosion as well, isn't he?
He is, and he gets a fantastic reception when he does.
He gets a good hand, does he?
I mean, yeah, we could talk about TNA. Well, we could talk about TNA for the whole show. It's a huge talking point.
We'll be here tomorrow.
But yeah, I mean, guys, let us know by the comments box below. I've got a commentary on it myself of what my feelings are about it. Let us know. Get involved and tell us. Do you think TNA will indeed fall under the knife, or will they continue, find a new network, and hopefully, what I think and probably what we thinks, grow and finally get back on track. So that's TNA done. Let's put that on the shelf for a little while, And
before anyone else does.
Yeah. And let's do it. Because you know what we're going to do, don't you?
That's the end, isn't it?
No.
Oh, you're going to make me do that roundup again?
Yeah.
Oh, go on then.
And there was quite a lot, if I remember rightly. There was quite a few people that were saying we should reduce it to 40 seconds, but...
Oh, completely.
No, I think they wanted to just see if you could do it any faster. They weren't saying that it was awful and you
58 seconds, I'll have you know. I did it last week.
Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? So let's get ready to do this. So do you remember the rules?
No. Please refresh my memory
of
a week ago.
Well, you've obviously got 60 seconds to do this in. And when you get to the last 10 seconds, I will give you a Bagwell approved. And
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that anymore.
I could give you a Cat 365 because I'm the greatest. But I'll give you a Bagwell approved. So yeah, that you've got to do this. I hope you don't fall outside the time zone after last week's very, very, very strong performance.
I was all over it, wasn't I, last week?
You was all over it like Buff Bagwell in a porn scene. Right. Okay. I believe we are ready.
Stretching.
3, 2, 1. Go!
Right, well, it opened up with Cena, everyone booing again as he's heading down to the ring, and out comes the Walrus. And they try and out-promo each other, which were probably the strongest bit, talking-wise, on Raw this week. I actually thought Cena was going to cry, and obviously there was no Brock Lesnar, because that would involve paying him for another Monday night. Orton seemed to get the best of Roman this week, which is about the first time in about 6 months, and actually beat the crap out of him for a majority of Raw. Paige and AJ, well, that escalated, got a little bit weird again, and Paige just wants to be friends. Jericho pops up halfway through a Triple H and Stephanie promo where Stephanie just wants to talk to Brie. Jericho's having enough of it, and of course he calls her his trademark skank ass dirty hoe. And yeah, well, if you're going to have an angle, end it with Stephanie and Brie, and Stephanie getting bitch slapping out and owning Brie.
Oh dear.
How many seconds was it?
Oh dear.
Did I go 102? Did I go over?
Oh dear. You went 102.
I told you it was 102. I felt the 12 seconds from the cutoff. Felt it. I nailed it. 102.
If you just said, and Britch gets... God, that's tacky teeth again.
I was going to say that's a T-shirt there, Britch.
Right, look, let's try again. Brie gets bitch slapped. If you'd ended it there, you would have been spot on, Sunshine, but you had to add something else, didn't you?
I Hollywooded it, didn't I?
You did. And...
I just like talking about Stephanie, to be honest with you. I know I've covered this on We Talk before, but I could talk about Stephanie all day long.
That is for your own channel, Weeds. Tales of Weeds and Stephanie.
I love her.
There you go. Revelations on We Talk this week as Weeds confesses his undying love.
Bagwell is poking me to say that. He's back.
Is he now?
No, he's not. You dirty. He's not. It's the stick. It's the stick. Not that kind of stick. Stop it. Jesus.
You
God, no.
couldn't have come out with anything worse. He's poking you. Where's he poking you?
Well, behind me. To be.
Oh, is he? Right,
yeah.
Right in the arse, yes?
No, slightly above.
Oh.
Lower back. Oh, yeah. I'm good.
What's he doing around your place anyway? I haven't seen him in months. Oh,
Bagwell
wait
approved.
a minute. That makes sense now. He's decided to enter the porn industry.
Yeah, we didn't say what type of version, did we?
Weeds. Oh dear. Really?
Yeah, he's trisexual, apparently.
Is he?
Don't be sick. Come on.
Don't be so mean.
We're going to have to get you back on topic here. He's not here. I haven't seen him.
I thought he was talking to Bagwell again, saying we're going to have to get back on top of it again. That's just not on. Yes, let's get back on topic. So what did you think of Raw? Let's be honest. I mean, you've done your roundup. It was pretty good this week, I have to admit. Very good, but you're just not quite on time.
Oh, I will try harder next week. I like Raw. I think it opened really strong with Cena and Heyman. Obviously, there's a lot of history between those guys. They've got to get Brock in the mix, but it was one of those. It's the Raw, isn't it? Right in the middle between when the next pay-per-view is going to be. It was good to actually see Reigns be human for once, because he got the. You got Bagwell and Jorgaff now.
I've got Roman Reigns here.
It was good because we've had this, you know, he cleared out everyone pretty much since Survivor Series last year. So it was good to see someone actually get the upper hand on him again. Favourite bit of Raw for me, though, was Jericho when he interrupted Triple H and Stephanie. I don't know what you thought of that bit. I loved that. That took me back.
I thought it was really good. But you missed out, like, the most important point of Raw.
Which one?
Even in your 60 seconds, you didn't even mention it.
Which one?
Damien Sandow in a spacesuit talking to Adam Rose.
I hate Adam Rose. I really, really hate Adam Rose.
Don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud.
I hate him. He sounds like a cheap Austin Powers.
Oh, weeds.
It's not party time all the time round here.
It is party time all the time. It is party time.
It's not party time. I don't like Adam Rose.
Don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud. I don't mind Adam Rose. I quite like him, to be honest. Why don't you like him?
I'm just. Do you know what? Every week he goes up on that ring apron, and I just think, drop him. Just let him hit the floor every week. See if he gets up from that. Take a bump.
It's pretty unkind, to be honest. Don't you like to party? Don't you like to party?
Not with him, no. Don't trust a guy with roses on his trousers.
I don't know what you're getting at there. I mean, yeah, I thought Raw was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Shame there was no time. Well, there was no money for Lesnar this week, but yeah. It was good. What indication though of how much Lesnar's going to be used in the build up to SummerSlam? Because I'm just trying to work out if he's going to have a title reign up to WrestleMania. Are we actually going to see him?
No. Well, this is the point. Even when he does turn up, he doesn't bloody say anything, does he?
Yeah, you don't want him to speak, though, to be perfectly honest.
No, not after the epic 25-minute promo, or however long it was, where he just got more and more angry as he didn't know where it was meant to be going. And he'd had a look at his watch, and Mickey had one arm pointed up and one arm at the 9, and he was like, this is meant to be over. I'm not meant to be here anymore. He just gets angry when he talks, doesn't he?
I think one week I've got to challenge you to a Lesnar scream. Who can do the best one?
Oh, I think we know you've got me beat on that.
Because Lesnar's scream
has
got more and more extreme every time he's come back. He does. He's going up there big time. So
it's like James Brown.
He is.
What I was going to say, what I did like about Raw this week was the fact that they ended it with Stephanie and Brie. It was good to see it done that way. Couple of good diva angles. Yeah, Paige and AJ's a little bit weird. Don't call AJ.
Oh, that's weird.
Don't call her crazy. But it's good to, they're going to have good matches. But it was good to see. I liked Stephanie being on Raw. She's still one of the best bits about it every week. Not just because I fancy her. But no, she's great. And the fake crying was brilliant. It was such a bad like fake crying that you and I'm assuming Stephanie this week learnt a new word, which was bitch, because she said it an awful lot.
I still think it's brilliant when she was doing the John Cena rap a couple of weeks ago. That's the best.
She's getting jiggy.
Yeah, I quite like what they're doing with Brie. The only thing at the moment with Brie is she does sell some things quite well, and other things just look really awkward. So I think she's still got to get used to what she's got to do.
She's playing with the big guns, isn't she? And I'm just talking about Stephanie McMahon, the person. I'm not. Don't even do it. Don't be sick. She's in there with the big
Lebowski.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing, isn't it, to be in there with Stephanie McMahon closing Raw, and yeah, maybe her performance wasn't the best that we've had from Bella, either one of them, but I think it's a feud I'm actually looking forward to seeing the end of, or beginning of, maybe at SummerSlam. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite good. I think there will be some interesting moments with the Bella Twins themselves. I've got a feeling that we may find... Well, good point to make, actually. Where is John Cena in all of this stuff with the Bellas? Because he's let his girlfriend get taken out to dry. Taken out to dry? Whoa! I don't know. But he's
too busy about getting his ass whipped by Lesnar. He told me that Lesnar's a beast for at least 10 minutes this week on Raw, because he has to build him up, because Lesnar, as we said, doesn't turn up if he doesn't get paid.
Yeah, I just sort of found it interesting that was it last week when Nikki Bella got beaten the hell out of, he didn't even come out. Triple H is out there like nobody's business sorting out Steph. Every week he's out there trying to sort her out. He
didn't get in the ring though, did he?
I think he's getting quite fed up with trying to sort her out, to be honest.
That stressful job, that. Again, it was good what they did with Jericho, with laying the seed maybe for a little bit down the line. It would be good to see Jericho and Triple H go at it again.
Can't believe he said his nose. Can't believe he mentioned his nose.
It was quality Jericho. But that was it, because, I mean, going into WrestleMania 18, those two were meant to be a really big feud for the undisputed championship, and Rock and Hogan stole their thunder, really, didn't they? So it'd be good to see them have a proper feud, but maybe did involve Stephanie again, or the Scancast Dirty Ho, as Jericho might have referred to her continuously through Raw this week.
Wasn't very nice, was it?
No, you can't talk about my Stephanie like that.
Getting a bit of a complex about that, Weeds, I think.
It's fine, I'll forgive him, because he is one of my favourite wrestlers.
So, that kind of brings us nicely on to the next subject, the final subject of this Wee Talk, which is indeed, I think this is great news.
Come on, announce him properly, come on.
Well, WWE announced the signing of Prince Devitt. They did, real rock and roller himself. I am so happy that Devitt has come to the WWE, but I have got a few reservations about him coming to the WWE. Don't take his face paints away.
No. Well, they're going to give him an awesome gimmick.
He does not need any gimmicks. No,
he's going to be Adam Rose's brother.
No.
Oh, no, I've got this. He's going to be Fit Finley's long lost descendant. Fergal will turn up. Finley. There you go. I've done it. I've done your work for you, Vince. No need to look for a gimmick. Fergal Finley, bring him out of a shillelagh, bring him out of Hornswoggle. There you go. There's your next 5 years of booking. Fergal Finley.
Look, that is the biggest reservation that I have when it comes to Prince Devitt. I don't know how they're going to promote him. I found it annoying enough that, to be honest, I know he's going to NXT, but come on. Do you know what WWE that was really good? That they acknowledged that he has been on the scene for a long time, and he's done some great things, like being a champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling, being a big name there. They acknowledged all that, and then they put him on NXT. I mean,
I don't have a problem with being on NXT as long as it's not too long. I thought it was brilliant that they acknowledged him on the website, and when they actually announced it, it's going to be interesting because he's there already, isn't he?
Yeah, it's mic skills for Devitt that needs to be worked on a little bit. He needs a little bit more charisma, a little bit more persona put behind him. But otherwise, he is the total package.
Do a deal with Marvel, isn't it? Do a deal with Marvel.
What? No, wait a minute here, because this is the bit that comes up quite a lot about the face paints. Now, hold on, because do you remember Rey Mysterio? Had numerous masks. He had Spider-Man. He had Batman. Wait, you going to do another song? Yes, he did. He had a Batman one.
No, I'm not.
I think he's had even maybe a Superman one at one point, but he's had lots of
What boy just came out without a mask on?
The Riddler, the question marks, he had that as well. So
I don't recall Rey Mysterio wearing glasses and pretending to be Clark Kent at any point.
Look, he's had it. So he's had those sort of things, and you would think that if that wasn't an issue, why can't Devitt have his face paints?
Well, it'd be very interesting if
Sting's got the crow.
Yeah, but I was going to say he's been ripping that off for at least 15 years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting because at the end of it, it's all going to be done by himself. So it'll be interesting to see if there are any copyright claims or trademark claims. I can't imagine for the foreseeable future we're going to see any of that stuff. Maybe we'll see a slightly different take, but any of the kind of the Venoms, the Carnages, I don't think we're going to see for a little bit. I think we might actually just see him as himself.
Well, they did. I mean, he did go on that little tour before he signed to the WWE and kind of did everyone possible, which I thought was quite nice. If that is how he's going to go out, I think everyone will remember him like that. But that is my hope, is that they don't move too far away from what Devitt is now, and that's a great wrestler. He's got all right mic skills. He doesn't need to be, WWE-ified, so to speak. Adam Rose example, Fandango example. He does not need that treatment when he's brought up.
Even
to the roster.
CM Punk before they let him be himself.
Yeah. To touch on Punk just slightly, because I don't really want to go into Punk in too much detail, but
we've done that.
But some of the matches, I mean, yeah, we talk all about CM Punk. Go check that out. But CM Punk totally could have had one of the greatest matches ever with Devitt. Come on, let's face facts. That is like a dream match right there, and we're not going to get this now.
It's down to Punk, isn't it? I mean, not to harp on, but this is down to Punk because Devitt's going to have great matches with Rollins. He's going to have them with Sami Zayn. He's going to have them with Cesaro. It's going to be whoever, and it's going to be Punk who misses out. So that's it really.
It's looking like a real nice. If they can get Devitt up there, I heard that Kevin Steen might be coming in. I mean, he's not the same style of those guys, but I mean, the sort of wrestlers that WWE are bringing in right now and have got coming through NXT,
they're nailing it.
Yeah, as long as they don't repackage them and make them different to what made these guys good, it's looking pretty good.
They should have put old Jericho, Big Nose in charge a long time ago, shouldn't they?
I think Triple H has done a pretty good job. I think I'll give him credit where credit's due. He seems to be, scouting. He said in one of his interviews recently, "Did you ever think that you would see the Ultimate Warrior in the Hall of Fame? No, that happened. Did you ever think that Bruno Sammartino would be back in the WWE? No." And then he said, "Did you ever think you would see Sting in the WWE? In the WWE signing a deal? No." And all of those things evolve around Triple H working hard and reaching out to these guys and really working with them to get them involved. And I think, again, that's the similar style that he's got when he's bringing in these superstars like your Devitts, your Steen. He sees something in them and thinks, look, we can get these guys in here and we can make them, he must be looking at that top tier, Rollins, Ambrose, Reigns, Bryan. It's looking good.
He addressed a problem. He saw a problem that there was a lack of top tier talent, I suppose, arguably, and he's filling it.
It's becoming best for business.
But what I would say, I mean, I was a massive Triple H fan. I don't know about yourself.
Bret Hart says he's never had a good match.
Well, I'm a big Bret Hart fan as well, and I will respectively disagree with Bret Hart on that point.
How dare you?
Well, I don't know. Don't tell Bret he'll get the right ass with me. But yeah, I mean, Triple H, I always thought he was an amazing ring general. Always cut great promos and anything he was trying to build up to, great in ring. And I thought that was it. That was what we're going to see. I obviously knew he was going to be the boss's son-in-law, but for me at the moment, what he's doing and potentially doing, from everything from the development center to how they're actually how Raw is being booked and SmackDown at the moment and WWE in general, he's going to potentially be a better booker and, wrestling promoter than he was a wrestler, which is saying something for me.
Yeah, it's
I use the word potentially.
Well, time will tell, and it is looking good, and I'm very happy that Devitt's there. I think Devitt is going to have a really bright future in the WWE. I think it is a shame that someone like CM Punk is not going to get to wrestle him now, but look, as long as WWE don't tweak Devitt too much, massive future. I'm so happy for him.
Hashtag Fergal Finley.
No.
You know it.
No. Yeah, well, that is the worry. Fandango. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. That is
Fergal Finley. Yeah.
Yes, that is the worry right there. Okay, so I mean, yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of another We Talk. As always, we've got those shout outs, and being Bagwell approved is now. This one episode is Triple X, so you got a very special Bagwell approved shout out today. So the shout outs are.
I think it means something different now. So, but please continue.
What do you mean?
We'll let our listeners read into that, or they will. So, who is Bagwell approved this week?
It just means that you're kind of extreme as well, so that's pretty good.
Oh, aye.
Okay, so Bagwell approved this week is you've got Reese OX4. You are extremely Bagwell approved. The Griff 9979. You are extreme Bagwell approved. And Michael Gowdy. You are Bagwell approved to the extreme. And I'm not talking about Tommy Dreamer. None of that softcore shit. You are totally taking it to the extreme. How'd you like that? What do you think of that? It's pretty good,
Not a lot left to say, is there?
Apart from, did you see the Fan Royal Rumble?
Yeah, you did really well.
Record breaker.
Yeah, record breaker.
Record breaker. No one else broke a record in the Fan Royal Rumble except for yours truly, Dashing Delzinski.
Your promo was longer.
Record breaker.
Your promo was longer.
No, I intentionally look. When you go through the ropes and you've got a robe on, if you're caught off guard like that, how the hell are you supposed to recover? If he'd let me take my robe off, which was agreed originally, I would have won the Royal Rumble.
Was this your tribute to Santino Marella of quickest elimination ever?
No, you're not getting it, are you? No. Record breaker. What could be better? Like, look, if you look at the big picture here, look, if you're not going to win the Royal Rumble, at least you've got to be remembered for something. And I am remembered for breaking a record at the Fan Royal Rumble.
Yeah, you had your neck broken from what I saw.
Well, that's a different story completely, to be honest. But either way, the Fan Royal Rumble was awesome. Guys, if you have not seen this event, it's a 4-hour special. I mean, really, really awesome stuff. Shout out to Rom for involving me in that and the Fam Clan. They just produce some epic stuff, and Famiversary is coming up, so you got to get in the mood for it. So go check out the Fan Royal Rumble. I will leave a link in the description box below. And as I said, I am a record breaker. I'm not sure one of them, but I am a record breaker. That's for sure. And you will find out why I'm a record breaker when you watch the Royal Rumble. Give me your support and stay Bagwell approved, people. There you go.
Well, I think that's everything. We've covered an awful lot of ground.
We have indeed, and we've found out your love for Stephanie McMahon again.
And Buff Backwell, apparently.
Oh, imagine that.
Mm.
Do you want to say anything else before you disappear to your humble abode with the Buff Star?
Well, thank you for that lovely exit. Until next time, guys, stay Bagwell approved. And we will see you next time.
Yes, we will. Buff and Weeds are off doing some stuff. Buff and the stuffs. Yeah. Anyway, guys.
No Buff too tough.
Look. Come on. Keep it classy. Has it ever been? All that's left to be. all that's left to be said, guys, is let me know via the comment spots below your views on today's We Talk. Tell me about TNA. Tell me what you think about Raw. Tell me what you think about Devitt, and tell me what you think about Bagwell. All that's left to be said, as per usual, is please rate, comment, and subscribe. And it's from the Professor. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And that's bye from me as well. The record-breaking Dashin Delzinski signing out.